Do you want healthy plants? I do. In order to have healthy, productive plants, you must test your soil. Good soil retains water but drains well and contains nutrients that are able to be plant available. It also needs to be within an optimal pH range and contain organic matter. This is where a soil test is needed to make the most of your lawn and garden investments. ThinkSOIL has provided a test for me to review. So today, we're going to get at it. But we're going to take a look at the contents. It does arrive first class USPS inside the test kit. We have the return package with prepaid first class postage back to them. We have a soil sample bag that we need to indicate where we pulled our samples from. Soil sample instructions on how to pull our samples. The directions on the test, it says to use a plastic container or bowl. I pulled 6 samples of soil. It says not to use grass, mulch, leaves, only soil. These plugs are 4 inches deep, so what I like to do is take about the bottom half of that. That excludes almost all your roots and organic material, such as leaves and grass clippings and grass and sticks and stuff. So we're gonna put these in our container. And discard this. I put a little extra in there just to make sure. Very simple, very easy. First class packaging, prepaid both ways. Pulling the samples and getting your samples sent back off in the mail was as easy as anything I've done with any other test. The directions are very clear and easy to follow. The test is very easy to pull up. Type in your soil sample number here. Click here for your results. And it will pull up your product recommendations. As you can see here, my test date was on January 30th, which was Thursday. I've already filled in that I'm a warm season grass with 20,000 square feet of turf. This is pretty good here. It tells me what their prescription is, what is needed. Of course, you add nitrogen to the rate that your grass type is. They tell me how much lime they think I should have to apply. No phosphorus, need a little bit of potassium, no calcium, and I do need micros. Their recommendations are for an entire year, and they do list their products. For example, it tells me that I would need a 25-pound bag and a 50-pound bag of their 5015 to apply in the spring. In late spring, they want me to have a 50 and a 25-pound bag of a 25015 and also 5 50-pound bags of Solucal enhanced calcitic lime. Oh, and 50 pounds of their Hydra G606 with micros to be applied in the fall and in the spring. So they provide you with a prescription on their recommendations of how to correct your soil deficiencies. When you actually look at the results, they use a color-coded and labeled key, as well as a visual, what I'll call a bar graph. So with my pH being low, it is color-coded with the orange color. It also shows here on the bar graph that it is low. And as you can see, not everything looks great. It provides you with your actual test result and an optimum range. On most of your elements, it is measured in parts per million, with the exception of your calcium and magnesium. Those are in percentage base saturation. And that is the gist of the test results. I do want to point out that the difference between the parts per million versus the base saturation rates, parts per million is an actual number of parts per million of that element in your soil. The percentage base saturation basically tells you what percentage of the exchange sites are occupied by those basic cations. My example is 50.6% of calcium and 15.6% of magnesium. That is the percentage of my CEC, which is 4.8 milliequivalents per 100 grams of soil. What does that equate to in a parts per million? I don't know, so I don't know how to correct a deficiency or a surplus here. It only gives me the percentages. Too low of an amount or too much of an amount will require completely different treatment methods. That brings us to their method of interpreting their soil test results for calcium and magnesium. The soil method that they use is actually called BCSR, which is base cation saturation ratio. In this case, the measurement is expressed as a percent saturation of the CEC in the soil. The BCSR is not incorrect. It's just one way to theoretically practice soil management. You would really need to know your parts per million to correct any problems in the soil. The theory basically is that there's a ratio between the calcium to magnesium that would be an optimal range. However, through the information I received through a turf expert, is that you can have the perfect ratio but still be deficient to the point of plant failure. So a ratio is just a ratio, it's not a measurement. Now that we've concluded the test and received our results, I wanted to give you my pros and cons of ThinkSOIL. Very easy to follow directions. Prepaid self-addressed stamped envelope for your sample return. They provided their test results much faster than expected. I dropped the sample off in the mail on Monday morning and received the test results on Thursday at 3 p.m. Their advertised time frame is 5 to 7 days. That's pretty quick. Their 5 to 7 day turnaround on your test results is much, much faster than the 4 to 6 week university test. Their management plan provides you what and when and how to apply amendments to correct your soil. The management plan given to you is specific to your soil test and as a 12-month plan. Easy to read results. The only cons that I can come up with are the fact that their calcium and magnesium levels are not in parts per million, and the fact that they only give you one brand option of products that they offer. The results were easy to read, and I enjoyed reviewing this product.